Hi, I'm Dr. Christy Mulkey, and I'm the workshop coordinator with 240 Tutoring. Today, I'm here to bring you our fourth and final part of our series on rock cycles. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm so excited about this series. We've gotten lots of great feedback. And today, we're going to be talking about the last of the rock cycles, which is going to be the Igneous Rock Cycle. So if you haven't watched parts 1, 2, and 3, I highly suggest you go do that. In those parts, we talked about weathering and erosion, the sedimentary rock cycle, the metamorphic rock cycle, and then our last part today, the igneous rock cycle. Now, if you're wondering, is this content going to be on my test? Here's a little chart to help you figure that out. You can see the competencies or standards, however your test words that, and what test this content does appear on. So if you see your test listed here, keep watching. Now, what are igneous rocks? Igneous rocks are formed by the cooling and solidification of magma or lava. So as it cools, it turns into a solid, and that is an igneous rock. Now, this happens in two different ways. So there are two types of igneous rocks. The first one is going to be our intrusive igneous rock. Now, this is slow cooling below the Earth's surface. So it's slow and below. So this is when magma does not break the surface, but it slowly cools, and that happens slowly because it's got all this insulation from the Earth surrounding it. But it slowly cools and solidifies, allowing for large crystals to grow within the rock. And so that's your intrusive igneous rock. It's slow and below the Earth's surface. Now, your second type is your extrusive. Now, this is when it's fast cooling above the Earth's surface. So it's fast and above. Or I used to have a student say, it sounds like exit, extrusive. It's exited out of the middle of the Earth. Okay, so if that helps you remember, I hope so. All right, so when that magma erupts onto the Earth's surface and cools quickly, that's what we call an extrusive igneous rock. So that happens quickly, and crystals do not form before it solidifies because of that faster process. Now, again, this can be described in a more technical way, but this is what you'll need to know for your exams. Now, some key points to remember about igneous rocks. Magma and lava are very similar. We call it magma when it's deep beneath the Earth's surface. And once it's out above the Earth's surface, we call it lava. So magma, once it erupts onto the surface, is then called lava. Okay, so just to clarify that for you, igneous rocks are classified by where they did their cooling and solidifying. So if it was magma under the Earth's surface that cooled and solidified, it would be intrusive, slow and below. If it were lava that cooled and solidified above the Earth's surface or at the Earth's surface, it's going to happen quickly, and that's going to be your extrusive. Igneous rocks make up most of the Earth's crust. Okay, so if you see a question like that, which type of rock makes up most of the Earth's crust, we are talking about igneous rocks. Now let's talk about appearance. Your intrusive will have large visible crystals. Now that word large is actually a little bit deceiving. So any crystals larger than 1 millimeter are classified as large and signify that that is an intrusive igneous rock. Your extrusive igneous rocks will have small, less than 1 millimeter, or no visible crystals. They may even have air bubbles trapped inside because they cooled so quickly, or they may even have a glassy look because they cooled quickly and none of those crystals formed. So here are some examples right here. Don't expect you to remember all these, but a few just to keep in mind. Obsidian, granite, basalt, pumice, and there are many more. Let's take a look at a couple of pictures This first picture right here that you see, this is pumice, and you can kind of see those little air bubbles in there. So that is pumice, and that is extrusive because you can see those there. And then over here you have your biotite, granite, and in this one you can see some of the little crystals, but that is your granite right here. Now let's do some practice questions. So which type of rock is formed when lava cools quickly at or near the Earth's surface? Now, if you watched part 3, you should be able to quickly rule out metamorphic because we know that happens deep beneath the Earth's surface. So it said at or near, and it's lava cooling. We also know that metamorphic rocks occur through heat and pressure. Now, hopefully you can remember it's not sedimentary rocks because those, while they form at or near the Earth's surface, are formed through that cementation of rocks being pressed together. So hopefully you knew this was igneous. You knew that part. And you're just trying to choose between the two. So if it's at or near the Earth's surface, it's exited, it's extrusive. Those intrusive are slow and below. So remember, intrusive are slow and below. So the correct answer here would be C. Now, if you've watched parts 2 and 3, you knew this type of question was coming. Now, I want to give you a little bit of relief. If you were taking an elementary certification test, you probably won't see this type of question. If you were taking a middle school or even a high school certification test, it's possible you may see this type of question. So I want to go ahead and show you one. Which of the following rocks is igneous? And guys, you're either going to know this or you're not. So you just have to go with your gut, take your best guess, and move on. Now, you've heard me say that if you've watched these videos already, but that's the same in this case. You either just know or you don't. Now, maybe you remember if you just recently watched the one on metamorphic that gneiss is a metamorphic rock. This coal is a type of sedimentary rock. Conglomerate is a sedimentary rock. And your obsidian is your igneous rock. A. And it's going to have that glassy appearance. All right. Now, I want to emphasize one key point. Now that we've done all 4 parts of this series, these are cycles, which tells you that things are operating in a circle where they can just keep moving around and around and around. All right, a cycle. So rocks can change between the 3 types. So if you watched the video on metamorphic, you learned that a sedimentary can become metamorphic, an igneous can become metamorphic. An igneous rock can get carried away through weathering and broken down through weathering and carried away through erosion and become a sedimentary rock. So it's a process. It's a big, long process. So don't get tripped up. Rocks can change between types. It doesn't have to stay one type. So I wanted to throw that in there right at the end just to help avoid any confusion. Now, lastly, you can get all the information you would need on rock cycles in our study guide. So I highly recommend you go check us out and look into our study guides to help you better prepare for your exam. Again, you can follow us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can drop comments right here with any questions that you have, and we will get back to you on those, or you can email us. I hope to see you again, and I'm Dr. Christy Mulkey with 240 Tutoring. Wishing you all the best on your upcoming test.